Pain has an element of blank. It cannot recollect when it begun, or if there were a time when it was not. It has no future but itself. Its infinite contained its past, enlightened to perceive new periods of pain. So much summer me for showing illegitimate, with his smiles minute bestowing, too exorbitant to the lady with the guinea look. If she should know, crumb of mine, a robin's larder would suffice to stow. A prison gets to be a friend between its ponderous face and ours, a kinsmanship express, and in its narrow eyes we come to look with gratitude for the appointed beam it deal us, stated as our food, and hungered for the same. We learn to know the planks that answer to our feet, so miserable a sound at first, nor ever now so sweet, as splashing in the pools when memory was a boy, but a demurrer circuit, a geometric joy. The posture of the key that interrupt the day to our endeavor, not so real, the cheek of liberty, as this phantasm steel whose features, day and night, are present to us, as our own, and as escapeless, quite. The narrow round, the stint, the slow exchange of hope for something passiver, content, too steep for looking up. The liberty we knew, avoided, like a dream, too wide for any night but heaven, if that, indeed, redeem. Of being as a bird, the like is to the down, an easy breeze to put afloat the general heavens upon. It soars, and shifts, and whirls, and measures with the clouds, an easy, even, dazzling pace, no different the birds, except a wake of music accompany their feet, as did the down emit a tune for ecstasy of it. A long, long sleep, a famous sleep that makes no show for morn, by stretch of limb or stir of lid, an independent one. Was ever idleness like this upon a bank of stone, to bask the centuries away, nor once look up for noon? Without this, there is not. All other riches be as the twitter of a bird heard opposite the sea. I could not care to gain a lesser than the whole, for did this include themselves, as seems, include the ball? I wished a way might be my heart to subdivide, 'twould magnify the gratitude, and not reduce the gold. The name of it is autumn, the hue of it is blood, an artery upon the hill, a vein along the road, great globules in the alleys, and oh, the shower of stain when winds upset the basin and spill the scarlet rain. It sprinkles bonnets far below, it gathers ruddy pools, then eddies like a rose away upon vermilion wheels. I dwell in possibility, a fairer house than prose, more numerous of windows, superior, four doors, of chambers as the cedars, impregnable of eye, and for an everlasting roof, the gambrels of the sky, of visitors the fairest, for occupation this, the spreading wide my narrow hands to gather paradise. Whole gulfs of red, and fleets of red, and crews of solid blood did place about the west tonight as 'twere specific ground, and they, appointed creatures, and authorized arrays, do promptly, as a drama that bows and disappears. That first day, when you praised me, sweet, and said that I was strong and could be mighty if I liked. That day, the days among, glowed central, like a jewel between diverging golds, the minor one that gleamed behind and vaster of the worlds. 'Tis good, the looking back on grief, to re-endure a day. We thought the mighty funeral of all conceived joy, to recollect how busy grass did meddle one by one, to all the grief the summer waved, and none could see the stone. And though the woe you have today be larger, as the sea exceeds its unremembered drop, their water equally. Could I but ride indefinite, as doth the meadow be, and visit only where I liked, and no one visit me, and flirt all day with the buttercups, and marry whom I may, and dwell a little everywhere, or better, run away, with no police to follow or chase him if he do, till he should jump peninsulas to get away from me. I said, but just to be a bee upon a raft of air, and row in nowhere all day long, and anchor off the bar. What liberty so captives deem, who tight in dungeons are. Embarrassment of one another and God, in Revelation's limit, allowed, is nothing that achieve, but still divinity dwells under seal. Again, his voice is at the door. I feel the old degree. I hear him ask the servant for such an one as me. I take a flower as I go, my face to justify. He never saw me in this life. I might surprise his eye. I cross the hall with mingled steps. I, silent, pass the door. I look on. All this world contains just his face, nothing more. We talk in careless, as in toss, a kind of plummet strain, each sounding shyly just how deep the other's one had been. We walk. I leave my dog at home. A tender, thoughtful moon goes with us just a little way, and then we are alone. Alone, if angels are alone, first time they try the sky. Alone, if those veiled faces be we cannot count on high. I'd give to live that hour again, the purple in my vein, but he must count the drops himself, my price for every stain. Of all the souls that stand, create, I have elected one, when sense from spirit flies away, and subterfuge is done, when that which is, and that which was, apart, intrinsic, stand, and this brief drama in the flesh is shifted like a sand. When figures show their royal front, and myths are carved away, behold Adam, I preferred to all the lists of clay. Dropped into an ether acre, wearing the sod gown, bonnet of everlasting laces, brooch frozen on, horses of blonde, and coach of silver, baggage, a strapped pearl, journey of down, and whip of diamond, riding to meet the earl. Ah, Tenerife, retreating mountain, purples of ages, pause for you. Sunset reviews her sapphire regiment, day drops you her red adieu, still clad in your mail of ices, thigh of granite and thew of steel, heedless alike of pomp or parting. Ah, Tenerife, I'm kneeling, still. Bloom upon the mountain, stated, blameless of a name, efflorescence of a sunset, reproduced the same. Seed had I, my purple sowing, should endow the day, not a tropic of twilight, show itself away. For who, killing to the mountain, come and disappear? Whose be her renown or fading? Witness is not here. While I state the solemn petals, far as north and east, far as south and west, expanding, culminate in rest, and the mountain to the evening fit his countenance, indicating by no muscle the experience. Nature is what we see: the hill, the afternoon, squirrel, eclipse, the bumblebee. Nay, nature is heaven. Nature is what we hear: the bubbling, the sea, thunder, the cricket. Nay, nature is harmony. Nature is what we know, yet have no art to say, so impotent our wisdom is to her simplicity. No romance sold unto could so enthrall a man as the pursual of his individual one. 'Tis fictions, to dilute to plausibility, are novel, when 'tis small enough to credit 'tisn't true. One need not to be a chamber to be haunted. One need not to be a house. The brain has corridors surpassing material place, far safer of a midnight meeting external ghost than its interior confronting that cooler host, far safer through an abbey gallop, the stones a chase, than unarmed ones the self encounter in lonesome place. Ourself behind ourself, concealed, should startle most. Assassin hidden our apartment, he horrors least. The body borrows a revolver, he bolts the door, overlooking a superior specter, or more. She dwelleth in the ground, where daffodils abide, her maker, her metropolis, the universe, her maid, to fetch her grace, and hue, and fairness, and renown, the firmaments, to pluck her, and fetch her thee, be mine. The future never spoke, nor will he, like the dumb, reveal by sign a syllable of his profound to come. But when the news be ripe, presents it in the act, forestalling preparation, escape, or substitute, indifferent to him, the dower, as the doom, his office, but to execute fate's telegram to him. The love of life can show below is but a filament. I know of that diviner thing that faints upon the face of noon, and smites the tinder in the sun, and hinders Gabriel's wing. 'Tis this, in music, incense waves, and far abroad, on summer days, distills uncertain pain. 'Tis this, enamors in the east, and tints the transits in the west, with harrowing iodine. 'Tis this, invites, appalls, endows, flits, glimmers, proves, dissolves, returns, suggests, convicts, enchants, then flings in paradise. The soul hath a guest, doth seldom go abroad, diviner crowd at home, obliterate the need, and courtesy forbid a host's departure when upon himself be visiting the emperor of men. Essential oils are wrung, the attar from the rose, be not expressed by suns alone. It is the gift of screws. The general rose decay, but this, in lady's drawer, makes summer, when the lady lie in ceaseless rosemary. Least be that brew, a honey's weight, the summer multiply, content her smallest fraction help, the amber quantity. To be alive is power, existence in itself, without a further function, omnipotence, enough. To be alive and will, 'tis able as a God, the maker of ourselves, be what? Such being finitude. Wolfe demanded, during dying, which obtained the day. General, the British. Easy, answered Wolfe, to die. Montcalm, his opposing spirit, rendered with a smile. Sweet, said he, my own surrender, liberty's beguile. Conscious am I, in my chamber, of a shapeless friend. He doth not attest by posture, nor confirm by word. Neither place need I present him. Fitter courtesy, hospitable intuition of his company. Presence is his furthest license. Neither he to me, nor myself to him by extent, forfeit probity. Weariness of him were quainter than monotony. New a particle of space's vast society. Neither if he visit other, do he dwell, or nay, no I, but instinct esteem him immortality. Each life converges to some center, expressed or still, exists in every human nature, a goal, embodied scarcely to itself, it may be too fair for credibility's presumption to mar, adored with caution as a brittle heaven to reach, or hopeless as the rainbow's raiment to touch, yet preserved toward, sure, for the distance, how high, unto the saints, slow diligence, the sky, ungained, it may be, by a life's low venture, but then, eternity, enable the endeavoring again. Soil of flint, if steady tilled, will refund the hand. Seed of palm, by Libyan sun, fructified in sand. Tweeties, a butterfly, elate, a bee, thought neither thy capacity, but blossom were I would rather be thy moment than a bee's eternity. Content of fading is enough for me. Fade I into divinity, and dying, lifetime, ample as the eye, her least attention raise on me. The soul unto itself is an imperial friend, or the most agonizing spy an enemy could send. Secure against its own, no treason it can fear. Itself, its sovereign, of itself, the soul should stand in awe. Best gains must have the losses test to constitute them. Gains, not revelation, 'tis that waits, but our unfurnished eyes. They say that time assuages. Time never did assuage. The actual suffering strengthens, as sinews do, with age. Time is a test of trouble, but not a remedy. If such it proved too there was no malady. I'll send the feather from my hat, who knows, but at the sight of that, my sovereign will relent, as trinket worn by faded child, confronting eyes long comforted, blisters the adamant. Speech is a prank of Parliament. Tears, a trick of the nerve. But the heart with the heaviest freight on doesn't always move. The zeros taught us phosphorus. We learned to like the fire by playing glaciers. When a boy and tender, guessed by power of opposite to balance odd. If white or red must be paralysis or primer, dumb unto vitality. Victory comes late and is held low to freezing lips, too wrapped with frost to take it. How sweet it would have tasted, just a drop. Was God so economical? His table spread too high for us, unless we dine on tiptoe. Crumbs fit such little mouths, cherries, sweet robins. The eagle's golden breakfast strangles them. God keep his oath to sparrows, who of little love know how to starve. Would you like summer? Taste of ours? Spices? Buy here. All we have berries for the parching, weary for loaves of down, perplexed, estates of violet trouble never looked on. Captive, we bring reprieve of roses, fainting, flasks of air, even for death, a fairy medicine. But which is it, sir? The sun kept setting, setting, still, no hue of afternoon upon the village I perceived. From house to house 'twas noon. The dust kept dropping, dropping, still, no dew upon the grass, but only when my forehead stopped and wandered in my face. My feet kept drowsing, drowsing, still, my fingers were awake, yet who so little sound, myself, unto my seeming, make? How well I knew the light before, I could see it now, 'tis dying, I am doing, but I'm not afraid to know. Shells from the coast mistaking, I cherish them for all, happening, and after ages, to entertain a pearl. Wherefore, so late, I murmured, my need of thee, be done. Therefore, the pearl responded, my period began. The heaven vast reach, in that small deity, it craved the grace to worship some bashful summer's day, half shrinking from the glory importuned to see, till these faint tabernacles drop in full eternity. How eminent the venture, as one should sue a star, for his mean sake, to leave the row, and entertain despair. A clemency so common, we almost cease to fear, enabling the minutest and furthest to adore. As if the sea should part and show a further sea, and that a further, and the three but a presumption be of periods of seas unvisited, of shores themselves the verge of seas to be. Eternity is those. Their height in heaven comforts not, their glory not to me. 'Twas best and perfect as it was. I'm finite, I can't see. The house of supposition, the glimmering frontier that skirts the acres of perhaps, to me, shows insecure. The wealth I had, contented me. If 'twas a meaner size, and I had counted it until pleased my narrow eyes. Better than larger values, that show, however true, this timid life of evidence keeps fleeting. I don't know. I could bring you jewels, had I a mind to, but you have enough of those. I could bring you odors from St. Domingo, colors from Vera Cruz, berries of the Bahamas, have I. But this little blaze, flickering to itself in the meadow, suits me more than those. Never a fellow matched this topaz and his emerald swing, dower itself for Bobadillo. Better could I bring? Life is what we make it. Death, we do not know. Christ's acquaintance with him justify him, though. He would trust no stranger, other could betray, just his own endorsement, that sufficeth me. All the other distance he hath traversed first, no new mile remaineth, far as paradise. His sure foot proceeding, tender pioneer, base must be the coward, dare not venture, now. The judge is like the owl, I've heard my father tell, and owls do build in oaks. So here's an amber sill that slanted in my path when going to the barn, and if it serve you for a house, itself is not in vain. About the price, 'tis small. I only ask a tune at midnight. Let the owl select his favorite refrain. You've seen balloons set, haven't you? So stately they ascend. It is as swans discarded you for duty's diamond. Their liquid feet go softly out upon a sea of blonde. They spurn the air, as 'twere too mean for creatures so renowned. Their ribbons just beyond the eye. They struggle, some, for breath, and yet the crowd applaud below. They would not encore death. The gilded creature strains and spins, trips frantic in a tree, tears open her imperial veins, and tumbles in the sea. The crowd retire with an oath. The dust in streets go down, and clerks in counting rooms observe 'twas only a balloon.